The official time, 6 p.m. Should all rise and face the flag, say the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And right at 6 p.m., the meeting is open, and if everybody had an opportunity to approve, or to view the agenda, I should say, we would need a motion to approve it.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as is.
I'll second it.
Okay, I use Darla.
Yep.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the agenda as written. Is there any discussion? Not? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Yes. Alderman interviews, if needed. Is there anyone here from Ward 2 that would like to be interviewed for alderman? Well, number 4 then will not happen. And we'll move on to number 5, public input. Yes, go ahead.
My name is Rich Ackland. Together with my wife Brenda, we moved into our home in Circle Drive 35 years ago. Previous to that, my address has always been Alcester. I come tonight for 2 basic reasons. One is to say thank you. David, how many years did you serve on the city council?
Going on 8.
We appreciate all you did, especially overseeing the golf course. Along with Landon and the crew, they've got a nice job on the golf course, and with the event center now, it's a beautiful place, and I thank you, Dave, for all you did to bring that about and to keep it up to snuff.
Pleasure to work with.
Secondly, Wanda is the face of City Hall, I figure. You come in here, you see Wanda, she's generally happy, always cordial, professional in her work, and does a good job of taking care of her business, and I appreciate that. Thank you. The second thing is, I'd like to bring pickleball to Alcester. If you know what pickleball is, if you don't, I'll tell you. It's somewhere between ping pong and tennis. It's a short little racket with a wiffle ball, 42 feet long and 20 feet wide, with a portable net 35 inches tall in the middle. Older people can play it, younger people, men and women. It's catching on quite nicely in a lot of areas, and I think it would really fit over here in this little gym nice, and I've talked to the Development Corp. I'll talk to Tim Reed shortly to get the ball rolling on that, and I just wanted you to know about that, because that hopefully will work out and be a nice benefit for the residents of our town. Thank you all, and Pat and the workers out on the street. A lot of times you take a little heat. Some of it's warranted, some of it's not warranted, but I appreciate your persistence and your willingness to serve and to make this town a treasure, like it says on the sign, a small town treasure. So I thank you all for serving and giving me the chance to speak.
Thank you. Thank you.
I've got a question, Rich. What's the expenses to get this set up? Have you done any research?
Okay, a portable net's going to be about $180 at Shields. The painting, I got a friend in Beersford, he painted the one over there. He'd come and help me paint. I don't think it'd be anything.
You just got to paint some lines on the floor, you mean?
We'd like to paint lines. We tried tape, but that peels up as you wear it off. I have it taped off.
One cord?
One cord will fit in there.
One cord, well, okay.
I did put some blue tapes down in the corner if you want to go look at it. It fits really nice. And
What did you say the dimensions were again?
44 by 22.
I said this a long time ago,
Yes.
that that would be fun and good.
And I think we get some of that by volunteer donations for heating and lights and a net.
Sure.
We'll see how it goes from here after I talk.
Maybe there could be an admission, okay, you come and play,
You know, we get that going, we'll probably have a league maybe and have a, I don't know.
Okay.
Even if it was $1 a person to get in,
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
if you
right.
think about it, it
We're
doesn't
gonna
take
have-
long for
we're gonna have
50 people.
spectators?
Yeah.
Any other questions? I play it over in Beersford and it's a lot of fun. Some ladies are playing it.
Do you
It's a-
supply
it's a-
your own racket and ball, or would that be something we'd have for people to use?
Rackets and balls are pretty cheap at Walmart, $20 for 2 rackets.
Okay.
Shields will be from $50 to $150.
Okay,
So we're not gonna provide many rackets.
okay.
But it's a lot of fun and you don't have to move so much. Us old people can just kind of.
let us know when you get that started.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Thank you for your service.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Is there any other public input?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I'd like to thank Gordon for representing the paper and being here at every meeting and making a report, summary in the newspaper. Sometimes the minutes are kind of lengthy and hard to read through, but his summary makes it easy to figure out what's happening.
That's a good
Thank you.
point. Very
Yes,
good point.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Any other public input? Hearing none, then we'll move on to, actually, we're gonna move on to number 7 because Tanya Miller had a setback as a result of COVID-19. So there will be no Banner Engineering report tonight. Hopefully we'll hear from them maybe the next meeting. We'll see what happens, so. And we'll move on to, I believe, I guess the clubhouse grill update is first, so I would assume Clint would be up first, and we'll also hear from Landon as well here concerning the community center.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. First off, I'll give you a little bit of numbers that we've gone through and what we're at for, we did for January and what we're close to doing for February. January, we collected $25,785. Our net sales were $22,310. As of right now for February, we've collected $23,282 for overall collection, and then our net sales are at $20,188. With still 5 days to go here in the month that are actually going to be included. So looks like we've been holding steady right around that 22 to 24,000 range for the months for doing business. A lot of it, a lot of outside people, word of mouth is getting out quite a bit. I talked to some people Friday and Saturday night that were from Centerville. A lot of Beersford people coming over, Hayward and Ireton. Had a few people from Sioux Falls in that were brought in by members of the community that decided to come up and have dinner with us. Everything's been outstanding from what I've been hearing, and everybody keeps telling me anyways. Our Valentine's dinner didn't go over very well. I think it was a little miswording in our advertisement and such. I don't think that the public was aware that they could have came in without any reservations, in which we didn't acknowledge that. So our wording is gonna be a little bit better and such, and then our next couple of events should go off without a hitch. I believe we've got Easter coming up, and Mother's Day, 2 weeks after. I'm going to attempt to do a Sunday brunch with that, so we can get some people in, a little bit more people in to enjoy our dining and our event hall and such. And then if you're not aware, we were going to do the grand opening on the 19th still, I believe, or has that been changed?
It's changed to May.
Oh, it's changed to May. Oh, okay.
We have an actual date in May?
7th.
Okay. We're gonna do that on a Saturday then. Okay. Right before Mother's Day.
Yep.
Ah. Okay. Anyways, we have booked the band Electric Americana that's gonna perform for us. Going to put out probably a light hors d'oeuvre for everybody to enjoy. And mingle throughout the event and the community center and the dining room area and such. Ooh, excuse me. We recently, I believe it was last Wednesday, we got the rest of our chairs, our real chairs in that instead of the borrowed ones that we've used. If you haven't seen them or anything, please stop up and take a look at them. They're very nice. Still working on getting some of our tables replaced that were cracked and damaged. We're just kind of waiting to see if any more come or show up that need to be replaced. Let's see. Other than that, just our wait staff are really getting better. I'm surprised with our young girls that are going on. Just the problem of scheduling with them with basketball and such, and that's very close to an end. But there's other events that there are other school events that they'll be partaking in. But we do need to get some more staffing with we've got a heavy April coming up and a fairly, not a real light, but a light March that's going to keep us somewhat busy to help improve our income and such. But some more part-time event staff and bartenders to help through that with 3 weddings, 2 weddings that are back to back, and then we'll be moving on into graduation area in May, along with our now open house. Other than that, I don't think I have anything else I need to share. If you guys have any other questions about something that's been going on or interest?
So when there's an event planned, is the restaurant always closed?
No.
Okay, I was asked that, and I said I didn't know either.
It depends.
How big?
Oh, it depends on how big and if there's anything that I'm doing to it.
Okay.
We had that case with Quality Park when they had their Christmas party, and I have to close a little bit to help accommodate that. It's kind of hard to do both at the same time. Either that or I put somebody else in charge of it. Well, I run one or they run the other. But
And the question I've been asked is, especially when it gets to golf season, how it's gonna is this gonna be open because of golf? I said, well, I don't know what kind of ways to look at it.
well,
for
we
golf.
were planning April 1st, if I remember correctly, that we're going to go. That it's going to be. We're going to attempt to, like I said, with my shortage in the kitchen,
The
You know,
kitchen's an issue. Yeah.
it's hard, and I know we want to be open, you know, the 7 or 6 days or whatever the case may be, but some of it, you know, we might just have to do some kind of a limited menu. I know we've discussed being open from 11 to 4. That's gonna attract the church crowd.
On
And
Sundays.
yeah, it could be overwhelming for if it's just one person back there, or two not as instructive as I am. We will figure something out of it. If I have to take a different day off somewhere in there to compensate for a Sunday, or train a couple people that can help out, or we can get more.
Kitchen help.
Yes, I mean, it's hard. There's just not a lot of, we don't have a lot of people around here. I'm trying to reach out into other areas to see, but it hasn't been real well. But
And it's not just here.
no, it's everywhere. Unfortunately,
everywhere.
there's,
Yeah,
you know,
it's a mess.
I'm a member of many chef organizations and circles that, you know, around the states here, that they have problems too. And, you know, and it's, unfortunately, with us being a smaller town, it's worse. And I know that my hours have exceeded what they should be. And, you know, the only thing I can do is apologize, but you know, I really can't, because, you know, I'm sorry, it's justified. If we want things to run, and if I want things to run the way that they are running right now, I need to be there. You know, and there's certain cases that there might be a couple days I could not be in until later, but that's, you know, there's also other things that I need to take care of, as, you know,
As well.
running the kitchen and you know, the clubhouse itself, that may or may not need my attention at that time. But with the help of my staff, you know, Landon and Mike, you know, we're getting things more to a control point, and hopefully I can back off here a little bit.
So how many people do you have helping you in the kitchen right
In
now?
the kitchen right now, I have 3.
3.
Landon's going to do some cross training. He showed a little interest in helping, and don't want to put more onto his plate, but if he wants to help and be a little more involved, that's fine and dandy by me.
Well, one of the beautiful things about Landon's job is when it's raining, and it's in the middle of the summer, good Lord willing, when it's raining, he should be able to.
And we're going to need a lot more rain if the greens are going to be green.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
At least you know, a few inches of snow, if not more.
So,
But other than that, if anything else, most of you have my phone number. If you need undivided attention and need to discuss things with me, feel free at any point in time. Other than that, I'll let Mr. Landon come up and discuss what else we've got going on.
well, before Landon comes up, there's another, letter B talks about, I don't know how to pronounce Jolie's last name, is Holte? Holte?
Holte.
And is that somebody that's already doing a little bit of work, or?
No, she is, this is a proposed hiring. She will start, and so we will approve her tonight, and she will come in. It's Kurt Holte's wife. She was looking for a little side stuff, because she's bored at home, and she's done several other things.
I
Worked
could add here,
other various.
Clint and I have both discussed this with her, and she's retired from one of the big hospitals in Sioux Falls doing food prep or some kind of kitchen work up there, so.
And she helped with events at the place in T.
Banquet and stuff, so.
I don't remember the name of it. All Seasons, or was that it? Okay. And then she'd worked there, done some stuff. I think she did some waitressing and stuff out during events.
Anyway, she said she would be willing to do 15, maybe hours a week during the day when we don't have anyone else really
Wow.
available, so, talking about, 3 days a week maybe, or things go well, maybe a little more. She lives in Beresford, and, we negotiated at $11 an hour, a salary for her to be a cook and whatever else we need back in the kitchen.
Then I'm also looking, I'm reviewing some of our applications that we've had to see if there's anybody for a good fit. Or, unfortunately, most of all our applications have been young kids, and I need 16 plus. I really need some adult servers, whether they're 30, 40, they have to be 50, 60 just for kicks and giggles because they want a little extra income, and they're bored at home watching soap operas or Food Network or something. Gilligan's Island, yeah. I don't know how many Gilligan Island watchers we still have, or Wheel of Fortune, or Lord knows all the stuff that we watched when we were kids.
Well, I for one am kind of concerned that if we don't get some help for Clint, we're gonna burn him out, or end up with some issues where he's not gonna be able to be at work, so I'd like to make a motion that we get him some help and hire Julie Healthy as a prep cook for $11 an hour, effective immediately as soon as he can get her scheduled.
I'll second that.
Motion has been made and seconded to hire Julie Healthy for prep cook position at $11 an hour, effective immediately. Is there any discussion? Not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Well, there's another prep cook anyway.
Thanks, Clint.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. And now, Mr. Nygaard.
Hi, guys.
Okay.
I handed out a sheet with the events scheduled. I knew January, February, March are kind of slow right now. We had one event in January. We have one tomorrow and Thursday this week. March, we just have one so far. April's our biggest month, busiest too. So, yeah. So I broke down the costs for each event, the total price, what we'll make on the event center side. And some of these events do have food meals, so that will go on Clint's net sales. I didn't put that in the sheets tonight. 2 weddings, like Clint said, that's gonna be big. And the fire department. So I think we'll need some staff. I know kids will probably be at prom when we have the prom event. And I would like a portable bar. I think that would not crowd the bar during the dining side. So we'll need 2 bartenders that night. You guys approve that tonight. Marlon Day from the school called me. He has 2 students interested in the senior capstone program. So I would like to have them help out with events, cleaning up. They can help roll silverware, help Clint out if we're kind of slow on the event center side. So he said they need 25 hours before the end of the school year. They're gonna start March 1st. So I think that'll help after cleaning up after wedding and then prom, banquet the next night. Yeah. I think that's all I have. I do have the
How many hours again?
25.
25 total?
Yep, there's 2 of them.
And these are seniors?
Yep,
It's 25 each, right?
25 each.
Yeah, so it'd be 50 man hours.
Yep. So I think that'll help out.
We've had them work in our office too. It's great. They come in during the day, maybe do a 2-hour shift or whatever their block class is. And, yeah, so.
Do they need to be on the volunteer list? Or if they would slip and fall or something, they'd be covered with workman's comp or?
We can put them on there.
Probably would be best.
Shadowing program, like an internship.
It's kind of like a shadowing program that we used to do at night, that we did at night.
I did ours here today, remember what I did?
Yeah,
Yeah.
March 1st is when they're starting,
Mhm.
next week.
Yeah, already.
Do you know who they are?
Kaylee Walinga and a Connor Graff. I don't know his last name.
She works at the drugstore with the crazy hair.
Yeah. What did you say, Graf?
Grafd.
I'll get that on March's agenda.
Any questions, guys?
Juno, I think you're quite a bit too, don't you? Some
What's that?
stuff coming up this summer.
There's a few things.
Yeah. You got the, what was it, Dr. Frank?
Oh, June
the
10th.
Rising Golf Tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That'll
that's
be
gonna be
huge.
huge. They're gonna do a steak dinner, silent auction.
They're gonna do, we'll have about 100 people for that the whole day. They'll come in the morning, get signed up
Golf.
for golf, and then we'll serve them lunch, and
Of
then we'll
course.
golf, and then a formal supper.
The Curdy Anderson
Yeah,
tournament's
May
like,
21st.
like, toward the end of May.
I did book the school employee banquet supper too, May 4th. So May's getting a little busy, which is good.
Good.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This next section deals with the HUD contact, and Gordon contacted me the other day, and he wanted to take a few minutes, or I asked him if he could take a few minutes and kind of explain a little bit what we've been talking about. If you would?
Sure. All right, yeah, I sent out a sheet there in front of you. I'm on the townhouse board, and it's only been about 6 months, 8 months, but each time we meet, we talk about, housing in Alcester and the need for housing in Alcester. And I know many people are interested in it. Of course, the more affordable, the better. Just on the news the other night, Sioux Falls has gone from $800 a month to $1,000, $1,200 a month, rental of apartments. So affordable housing is out there, and the need for it. The townhouse, of course, they operate, I think, a dozen buildings. Almost 50 people get their housing through the townhouse apartment complex. But there's no money. Each time we have a meeting, there's no money to build. There's no money for this, no money for that. So yet there's an interest. And so I've been, in that capacity, I've called this gentleman here, this Roger Jacobs, who's the state director for HUD in South Dakota.
A committee? I mean, what that first step is, I don't even know yet. But at least we can get the ball rolling on it.
Sounds interesting.
So, I don't know if anybody's willing to put forward a motion to, I guess, begin the process with Roger Jacobs.
Would he be willing to come to a council meeting, do you think?
Yeah, he mentioned that. I think he initially thought maybe a Zoom meeting with a group of people, but I mean, he's a South Dakota director, so I think he has liberties to come. So yeah, I think he would come. I don't know if he's a golfer or not.
I'd like some good food, Gordon.
Yeah, there you go.
That'd be a great way to do that, to
Do we need to maybe have a couple people do the Zoom?
we could start that way, and then
I mean,
that would be fine,
instead of having,
right? I guess the question is, do you want to move forward? It's a yes or no question. And if we want to move forward,
Probably should.
I think the housing, I think there's enough people out there that might have something like that in town. You know, it's past due, I think. So,
Our issue is everything's steps.
it is.
We need something that's
Yeah, right.
ground level.
That's
Or
why
an
I think-
elevator.
Yeah.
That's why I think he's so, Jamie's so interested in like a twin home. That's usually a ranch style home
Yeah.
that's just all on one level and attached garage maybe, So,
Well, I'd make a motion to approve a couple members of the council to have a Zoom meeting with this guy, and I would be willing to be one of the people.
I'll second that. I could volunteer as well to Zoom with this guy.
okay, and Lucas, you did second that, correct?
Correct.
Yep, I got it. So, we have a motion. Sorry, just writing. Motion to approve a couple city council members who have already volunteered, Dave and Lucas, and to have a Zoom meeting with this Roger Jacobs, and we'll probably just contact him sometime in the next few days, hopefully, and try to get a good schedule set up and a place to do that. I mean, those little tablets will do it, right?
Yeah.
So we could just do it right here at this table if you wanted to, and a couple of you here, and
They could do it from their homes too.
or you could do it separately too. That's a good point. So,
I don't really, I don't have a tablet.
okay,
so-
we'll actually, you should have one of those too, shouldn't you?
Yeah, and, or I've got one in the office too.
Yeah. So, okay,
Since Gordon has been so nice to make contact with this guy, it would work out, maybe you could be invited to be part of it.
I'd be interested.
that'd be wonderful. Okay, well, there's a motion on the table to move forward with a Zoom meeting with Roger Jacobs. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. So Dave, Lucas, and Gordon, if you want to try to figure out a time for you and or two or whatever, and, I mean, you got his contact information, you can get a hold of him and make a mutual agreement, so that'd be good. Thank you all for volunteering as well. All right, number 9 is the multi-community chip seal project versus bid project. I know Lonnie's here. Yep.
Well, assuming you all got a chance to look over the little spreadsheet deal I did there. You guys got any questions on any of that? I tried to kind of color code it, like green's good, yellow's middle, red's bad, but obviously when you go down to our square yard for CSFS and engineering price, you know, if you're counting the fog seal in, you know, Bros is going to be the way to go. So I guess the question really is, do we want a fog seal? Because if we want a fog seal, well, Bros is the way to go. If we want to just keep doing it the way we were doing it, we take our chances with road guy or top coat. And these numbers out are all based on last year, so those could change. So none of this is set in stone.
So I've just got one question regarding the whole fog seal. Chip sealing is expensive enough, fog sealing is a little more expensive, but, okay, so let's say we're gonna do this, and that's great, but are we making sure that the roads that we would do this to, and specifically the ones that we would have fog sealed, are not roads that are gonna be torn up to put new sewer underneath with this sewer project?
Well, as far as the sewer goes, we're lining, correct? So there will not be any tearing of the road up in sewer. Where the tearing of the road might come up is if we do go forward with water main infrastructure. And then half the road's gonna get tore up for that. And that's, I guess that's a whole different deal we haven't even started yet, have we? So we're talking minimum probably 5 years out on something like that.
Okay, well that, I mean, that's the life of it all anyways, I mean, yeah.
So the road, you know, just to give you an idea of the roads that I would like to do already going into this year is the ones that we put the patching, the heavy patching over last year to help seal those in completely with the existing road. Because they're sealed, but it'd be better if we had a coat over top that kind of made them all one as much as we can. And then obviously we've got lucky with the moisture this winter, but we'll still have some frost eating and whatnot going on. We'll have to fix that. I kind of know which roads are already going to do that, so. But, you know, the fog sealing, by my estimates, we'll get about 22 city blocks if we get last year's number for the price. Without the fog sealing, say road guy comes in at the same number, we're going to do 27 blocks. My biggest thing is, I feel like we lose a lot of rock throughout the year without that extra layer over top. Now, I can't guarantee it's going to make it perfect, but it should help lock that rock longer and get packed into the ground or into the surface better. So,
How many blocks with fog seal?
about 22.
22 compared to 27.
Yep. Based on last year's numbers.
That's what those numbers in parentheses.
And, oh, well, okay.
So for them to do this, do you have to say up front, I'm doing 22 blocks? And what if the price comes in way higher?
With them, we'll give them like an idea of square yardage that we will want to do. And then that number, once the bid comes in, we'll adjust it lower or higher.
Oh,
And then
okay,
that'll be
you have
how-
that option.
So that number, the budgeted number of 42,500 won't change. That's how much we're gonna do.
Okay,
And it'll just depend on the bid. So,
okay,
Might be 19 blocks instead of 22, or
Right.
whatever.
because sometimes you're kind of touchy on that, you never know.
yeah, and
How many city blocks do we have?
we got about 8 miles worth of streets.
90 or
Streets and
90 or
alleys.
100.
Okay, 90 to 100, okay, I just was curious.
8 miles, you said?
8 times 12.
And I could be wrong on that, that might be water lines. It was a while ago when I did that, but, I guess I did look into the trucking, if we were to do it. We would, potentially, we could save about $1,400 if I truck. That, these numbers are coming out of Sioux Falls. I didn't call LG Everest and Haywarden because of that number. I'd have to call and order it, and they'd have to bring it from Del Rapids. So I don't know what the number would be on that. I'd have to check with them. And you know, and obviously at Haywarden, my hours of trucking would go down significantly, but it would still eat up a good amount of time. So. And then I just broke down sweeping too. It's about 7 cents a square yard. So you can pretty much add that 7 cents a square yard onto top coat or road guys just square yard chip seal price. And then I gave you guys a few bid documents from last year's valuations. Lincoln County and the multi-community, and then just a notice that from the state of South Dakota DOT that the same company had gotten a bid from them, or had won that bid too, so. Just to show that road guy is bidding on this stuff, so.
So is the mobilization just part of the lump sum bid? Or is there an extra charge usually from like road guy or top coat to do the mobilization in the town?
It's part of their lump sum. It's put in their square footage, or square yardage in there. We've never got a breakdown from them, so we don't really know.
Yeah.
But I guess my suggestion would be if we aren't gonna fog seal, if we don't think that's a good idea, which I believe it is, but that's your guys' choice. I would say we just stay away from fog seal because it's gonna be too costly. And we aren't gonna be able to do we'll have to hire Dakota Traffic Solutions or somebody to come in and keep these roads closed down until the fog seal dries. Which through Bros, they do all that for us, so that's built into the bid.
How long does it take to dry?
I think that really depends on your air, you know, if
Humidity.
there's high humidity, it's gonna take longer. I think it's fairly quick, because usually when they're out on the highway doing this, it's not long.
Okay.
Lonnie, can you go over these engineering costs on the first page? The $4,500, is that just a basic fee?
Okay, you're talking on Bros?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Okay, so, oh, I got you. So $4,500 if you guys pull up the Bros sheet. That $4,500 is that map table and quantity and engineer estimate, $1,500.
On this sheet here.
So it's all of those except for the construction inspection, quality and control, which is $95 a 1,000 square yard. So it's 1, 2, 3, and 5. So that's where we get the $4,500. And we have to pay that. And then the only other number that would change on the engineering is how many square yards we do, which should be engineer cost per 1,000 on the sheet I made. And I had Heidi double check my numbers, and she came up with the same thing. So that 201 a square yard based on last year is correct. And I didn't add what the city puts in. I don't know what it costs us to go through this bid letting process, if anything, if that's just part of the retainer.
It was $5,670.
Well, what do we normally pay?
Oh,
Like, is there any city cost? I didn't know.
just Sam's fees and publication fees. So it would be probably an hour of Sam's time, so that'd be $150, and 2 publication notices per bid. Let's just say that's $80 a time, so it's $160, and then postage, which would be very minimal, $10.
So all in all, that's all pretty normal.
Yeah.
Well, I'd say on the streets that we know for sure are not gonna get tore up, I would say I'd kind of lean towards trying to fog seal.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely agree with him. I think it's going to lock in the rock. The streets that need to be done, but have that possibility to be tore up, they would just
Match it.
patch it and not fog seal that for sure. That's kind of what, the way I lean.
I just don't know what street seals are at this point. That's the hard
Right,
part.
it's kind of difficult to say.
It's not even been engineered yet, so.
Yeah, I
I
was
assume
under the
we'll start
impression
over
that-
there, just like sewer when that happens, but
You don't think we'll do anything on the east side of town? Nothing needs to be done?
this year,
Yeah.
I didn't plan on it, but it just kind of depends. That hill that goes down, is it Lee? That one you never know what's gonna happen after snows in spring hits. It seems like something happens there.
Sure.
But we usually do, like, we worked on that last year, so we usually skip it for at least a year. So at this point, I don't plan on doing anything past Park Street.
Do we have more streets than Ofsted that have sewer and water going down the middle of them? Isn't a lot of that stuff in the alley?
A lot of the sewers in the alley. Ofsted's kind of the only one I can really think of off the top of my head. The rest of them are alleyways. We do have some storm, down here in this part of town on the main streets.
I feel like the sewer lines go on the east-west streets more than the north-south.
I can't think of any.
Because isn't there manholes on Second, like by Cindy's house?
Yeah, but that's right in the center of the alleyway, and it's
Oh.
just.
That's where it's on.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's the
they
same
just,
place.
they
Okay.
try to put their manholes every 300 to 500 feet, so they just put them in the blocks, basically, in the east-west road.
When do we have to make this decision? It was soon, wasn't it?
We really do need to make the decision tonight
Okay.
because, normally we make it in February. I advertise in February, we open bids in March. So, and if we go with Bros, they also have a March 1st deadline.
So what do you think? Because you're the road guy.
I think it's worth doing the fog seal, at least this 1 year. Let's do it, let's see if it really is what we think it is, and I think it is. It's gonna lock the rock down like we want, instead of sweeping half of it up and then it just sits up at the shop.
Yeah.
And then we sweep it up again in the fall. When we go out and do leaves, we've got more pink rock. And it's like, so there's nothing there holding this stuff down the way we do it.
Or even snow, it still
Yeah.
takes it.
Yep.
My front yard is full of that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, nothing to hold it, like you
Yeah.
said, it was,
Yeah.
I couldn't come and look at my yard, it's all pink rock right now.
Right. So, and I don't know if Heidi mentioned this, but eventually they won't be black, the streets. They will fade back to pink, but by then the rock should be locked in and it should be okay. And not lose near as much of it.
Has anybody in town ever been fogged? Ever? Have we done that?
Nope,
So we don't have anything to compare it
nope. The only thing similar that's been done is a school did a slurry seal on their parking lot on the north side. But that was without any rock. It's just kind of I think there's a fine sand in it, in the oil, and it's.
I just don't know if we're gonna save enough to save the $6,500. Maybe worth a try.
Any other discussion?
So these bids from like Lincoln County, like they did fog seals, is that like in town?
Yep, they did fog seal like what we would do if we went through Bros. That's, if you look under their number 2 item line,
Yeah,
it's the same thing that we would do.
okay.
And they are also using the same exact emulsion as we would to lock our rock down.
Yeah, Heidi was saying it. That's one of the things that they do as well, is they make absolutely certain they're using the right chemical, not fudging the numbers on the oil.
Would you even know if they're fudging the
No.
numbers? I was gonna say, how would you even know?
But they would. 'cause
Yeah,
That's what they do.
That's what they do.
When they roll in with their tanker and fill up, it's usually before I'm there, and that tanker's gone before,
You don't have any idea.
no. And the last couple of years, we've used more than a tanker, so we got, I don't know what they did with the other half of that tanker, because they buy a whole tank at a time, they aren't buying half a tanker. And that's where Rose comes in, and they make sure that that tank's full, and the right amount's gone, and not being charged for when they leave, so.
Not having to sweep, not having to, I mean, and I'm not trying to argue for it as much as I'm just saying, you gotta be fully informed. There's a lot of stuff we don't have to do. We don't even have to worry about it. We don't have to, block traffic. They'll do it. We don't have to do any of that. So, anyway.
Does the city have the equipment to like blow out the cracks in the streets and fill that up?
No, we don't have a big air compressor, we'd have to rent it, and then we'd have to rent the hot cot for it. And I did check into that a couple years ago, I wanna say it was like $2,500 a week, plus we'd have to buy the bricks. So, and with Dale running the sweep bonus 3 times a week in the summer, it's pretty tough to do those jobs like that where it takes 2.
So what do we do about that?
The cracks?
Yeah.
If we keep up a good program like this, the cracks keep getting sealed. So, you see over by your house where it cracks out, that's just kind of crazy over there. It's such a wet bottom, and those kind of things, we could go in and probably do those ourselves by hand somewhat with a caulk gun. They aren't gonna be perfect like the county goes out and does, but we could try to seal them up so water don't get in them. But I know you dig down a couple feet over there and hit water, so. And we have even with our dry year last year, the school's little pit that they water their football field, that was still filling up with water last year. So.
Well, we either need a motion or we need to move on.
So Dave, you just said you didn't think we could recover the cost.
Well,
Now I don't understand a whole lot about this, but here there's an engineering fee and here there's one. Over here it's set up to $10,200, right? So we've got 6,500 here on this yellow sheet, am I right?
Yes.
Am I following this right? So then we've only got what, 3,700 difference now? Am I understanding that correctly or not? I don't know, I'm a lady, so I don't understand this, but.
So according to this, what it says for compensation here, I get the engineering fees will not exceed $10,200.
Mhm.
And that's if you do a whole bunch of stuff, like, what is it, more than
60,000.
60,000 square yards. We're doing 20,000 square yards.
So ours wouldn't be that much.
No,
anyway.
ours would be the 65.
Just what's up here, so then
6,500.
it's comparable, right? We aren't gonna get as many blocks, but we're gonna get the chips, or with the fog seal.
Right.
Instead, we'll get less blocks, 5 less blocks with the fog seal.
Yep, and no matter if you're doing 60,000 or you're doing 20,000, whatever, 21,000,
Okay,
we're still gonna pay that $4,500 engineer. So that
Yep.
4,500 plus 5,700, which would be their max for their square yardage fee,
okay.
would be 10,200. So that's where that number comes from.
But you notice that Dave mentioned 6,500. If you take the yellow
Yes,
square,
and the other two
45 in 2011.
6511,
Yep.
yeah. Mhm.
So that's where those numbers are actually coming from, so.
You think it'd be worth it, Lonnie, to rent a compressor and all that, fill in the cracks, get a little bit more in there, you know, more of a chance to keep the water from going down, or not really worth it?
We could, but like I said, the cost of that and the time, we'd probably be better off getting hold of a company that just can come in and knock it out.
Sure.
Probably pay them $2,500 to do it. So it depends on how much you want to do, you know.
Maybe that's something that could be looked into too before, I mean, obviously this isn't gonna be done
Yeah.
in the next few months, so we could at least look into that. Because I could see the value of sealing that up, that's for sure.
For sure, over there, there's so many cracks over here that you just gotta keep chip sealing because they're alligator.
Yeah.
That's something we tried to fix a couple years ago. That didn't work about 50% of the time over here, but.
Any other discussion? Anybody interested in making a motion?
I would make a motion to try Rose for 1 year.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to approve using Bros Engineering per the information that we've got in front of us. Give them a 1-year chance and see if there's major benefit. Is there any discussion on the motion?
We're talking with the fog seal, right?
Yeah, with the box, yeah.
Any other discussion? Hearing none. I think I'm going to use a roll call vote this time. Linda, how do you vote?
Aye.
Dave?
I'll give it a try, I'll vote aye.
Okay. Darla?
Aye.
Lucas?
Aye.
Cindy?
Aye.
All right.
Thanks, Liz.
Thank you.
Thank you, honey.
And now, we have Chief Sculler here for some law enforcement information. And you've got 3 different documents that pertain to this. You may or may not already have seen this, maybe from past years or whatever.
Yeah.
I think this is a standard contract that has been done in the past. Obviously, one of them had to do with the officer having to travel all the way to Pier. The other one had to do with him just traveling to, or the officer, excuse me, not him, the officer traveling to Sioux Falls. And so there was kind of a difference in the compensation specifically regarding the vehicle and costs. So, anyway, go ahead, Chief.
And if they do take their personal vehicle, then number 12 would apply.
What I've kind of been thinking is, I know past other departments, they send them their stuff like that. I think at least 1 trip with city vehicles should be reasonable, at least for graduation. If not 2, maybe just, we give him a chance to go there. It's his decision. If he wants to come back, he can stay over the weekend. But after that, personal vehicle. but that'd be up to you if you just, I think one is a minimum type of thing that I would like to see, just so at least for graduation purposes, he can, you know, have that vehicle there, you know, for his family and other reasons, so.
You won't be doing any part-time patrolling, correct? Now that he's not going to calls, right?
I don't know, definitely not during the week. I don't know if he's still interested in the weekend, which I'm not gonna force it upon him. We haven't really dove into that discussion, but when you're working, you know, when you're 5 days there, you have to come back. You're not gonna work till Saturday night, you know, and I don't think I'm you know, pressure him into that. I don't think that's reasonable. That's kind of what item 2's for, so. I'm doing it.
So you said you think he should have it for graduation. Can I ask what they're gonna do that he would need it for that?
I think, you know, I think it would just be a good family, you know, not only family, but it at least shows that our city's behind him and that this is the PD that he's there for.
How long would he take it for? If
I
he's
believe it's, I
not
believe, the end is on a Friday, so it'd be like a Monday type of thing. They go up for graduation.
just a week in there?
Yep, so it'd just be one round trip.
I kind of think that would be cool though, having it there,
Mhm.
especially at graduation. It kind of is like I'm certified.
One other question that our office would have is, will the officer get on-call pay when he is 13 weeks at the academy?
When he's what?
The 13 weeks at the academy,
Does who get on? Oh,
Officer Lass.
I don't know
He's
why.
not
How can he?
I think that'll be up to you guys, because it is a salary-based thing, so I think I'll let
I don't think he should, he can't be,
He can't do
can't be
on call.
reached.
He's not on call.
Yeah, I don't think so. That's my feeling
there we go.
anyway. Sorry.
So-
Well, I mean,
No,
He is gonna jump in a vehicle.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
yeah.
Well, you
I have no
definitely won't be
opinion.
here in 15 minutes.
No.
We'll put it that way, so.
Yeah, I have no opinion on that, so I'll let that be your guys's.
Well, so regarding item 12, the only thing might be that we just allow him to take that vehicle for the graduation week.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think, you know, if you guys believe it needs to be in the contract or not. So,
I don't think so, but if I'm wrong. We could just say that, yeah, that's okay. You guys can decide.
I think Sam would prefer
Yeah,
it to
I
be in
think
there.
maybe it should be in
Yeah.
there.
I do too.
I think you probably.
It's an executive decision by the mayor and chief, so.
Well, we can just add a sentence to number 12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, the paper can be modified before it's all signed, so.
One trip with the city police vehicle, not to exceed 1 week.
Yeah, you wanna call it graduation week or last week of training, whatever. There isn't an actual motion section there, but under academy discussion, we could write in the motion, etc. Because if we're going to change this contract, it will have to be moved.
I would make a motion that we approve the contract with the addition of a sentence under section 12 that would allow the trainee to take the city police vehicle to class during graduation week, no more than 7 days.
I'll second that.
A motion. Cindy. Second. Okay, motion's been made and seconded to approve this contract, law enforcement officer certification agreement, one that says LET peer, with the addition of a sentence under item 12 that specifically states that it allows the trainee to take Alcester City Police vehicle for graduation week, the last week of training, for no more than 7 days. Is there any other discussion? Okay, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. So now we got another little document or multi-page document that the chief handed us.
I spoke with our public safety committee about the intentions of hiring another part-time officer. We do have 2 on the roster. One's more of a specialty, and the other one it's kind of hard to get to come due to, say, works down at the port. I think I've explained it a couple times. He has a real wonky schedule. He is around when I truly do need him, but due to Grayson going off to the academy, it'd just be myself again, and I'd like to have that at least just a little bit of help. He is not certified, but he is a certified reserve officer for Sioux Falls. He's been doing that for 5 years. It's kind of just a step down from a certified officer. You're not technically a certified police officer. So it'd just be, he could only work for a year. And, you know, if he does pursue a different path that gets him certified, that can, you know, he can work longer. But state statute only allows him to work for a year, being uncertified. But he works up at the jail currently at Minnehaha County, and like I said, he is a certified reserve officer. He has worked large events, he's worked the streets a few times, not a few times, but you know, he's not going to be a fresh kid that I'm going to have to train and train and train. He is going to have some good roots. And he's going to be available, I know, at least 1 day a week, if not more, so.
So is this normal schedule Monday through Friday, or just 40 hours a week?
They work 12-hour shifts up there, so
3 days a week? Is
yeah, I think one's like 3, one's 4, so they get up to 80, something like that. So, and I think he kind of works the opposite. My weekend, and I think we have a couple days off, you know, are kind of opposite, so I think it would work out really well. Just kind of.
So he would be using the other police vehicle when he's here on duty?
It could be the other vehicle, otherwise it could be, you know, my vehicle. Just really depends. I ain't gonna be picky on who drives what vehicle at any given time.
Well, I think we need the help. You said you have one other person that's on part-time?
Yeah. Yep.
Do they work any hours?
Lauren Miller, when I was by myself here the last stretch, he did help out a few times, so if I do really need him, I call him up. It's kind of hard to get a set schedule due to the place that he does work, and guess I don't really ask unless I truly do need it.
So what would the pay rate be then?
I believe our certified is $17.25 is what we started them out as. That was the last one. That was a certified officer last year. Now, way inflation is, cost of living, I don't know. I said we might be able to get close to 17 for them, but I'm gonna leave it up to you guys and let you make your decision.
Do you classify him as a certified officer?
I can't classify him as a certified officer because it's a certified reserve officer, which is a different category.
On 19A Austin, that don't affect him getting certified down the road at all if he decides to?
No, and there's nothing on a triple I, which is a criminal history, so, you know, nothing on here that would affect anything, and nothing that worries me.
Yep.
These were all long enough ago. If Sioux Falls has got him in there, they would have axed that, I would think.
So how many hours are we thinking we would try to use him?
He said he's a morning guy and he likes his 12-hour shift, so I mean, if it's 12 hours a week, maybe some weeks 24.
Yeah.
So,
Would you like him to work 24 hours out of the week, or what do you prefer?
I would like that, you know, it would be nice to have a steady part-time officer.
Are you thinking of having, you'd like to see him on part-time for the next whole year, or what?
Yeah, I don't think he
Because,
would
I
have,
mean-
I don't think he would have an issue, working a whole year, so it is kind of unfortunate that, you know, it's, like, we've had discussions before, we can't find a certified guy who, you know, is willing to come and do, you know, more of an active part-time work here, just because we are kind of in the middle of a lot of things. South Point, Beersford, Hayward, and they all seem to have a better time with it, but it's something that we just
Does
don't.
he want to become certified?
I'm not sure what his, he really likes where he's at the jail.
Okay.
I think they treat him well and pay him well, so.
Did you find a rate for part-time officers?
Uncertified is $16.75, certified is $17.75.
So he would be pretty close to 17.
Yeah.
Yep.
16.75 is, I mean, we could just stick with that if we wanted to, and who knows whether 6 months from now, the guy could walk on water, or, I mean, you know.
I've been known to do that a time or two.
Yeah. You can do it all over right now, but, I mean. Well, is there any other discussion regarding the part-time officer?
Do we want that effective immediately?
I would like it effective immediately. I think he's going through one loophole with the sheriff's office, just waiting for an approval from the sheriff up there since he does work for him. But, I mean, if he gets that approval here, come the end of the week, it'd be nice, maybe work a weekend and teach him how we do it.
Well, I'll make a motion to approve hiring Avery Finney
Yep.
at the pay rate of $16.75 an hour, effective immediately.
I'll second that.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve hiring Avery Finney as a part-time officer with as, with a rate, of $16.75 an hour, effective immediately. Is there any discussion?
We gotta have a vest for him.
Yeah, we got one.
We got one.
Yep.
Is there any other discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Cool.
Thank you.
That is a good thing.
I think just one more quick thing. I'm not gonna do stats or anything, but I did provide some numbers to Gordon. Not sure if it made the paper, but I
You
also.
did.
Did.
I was just reading that a little bit ago, and I was gonna mention that before you left.
So.
I mean, it was just, I think it's good information.
Yep.
Not to say that the report that Zerker gives us isn't good, that's not what I'm saying, but it's so vague that,
Yep, and I think it took probably 3-4 hours one day online with the company, trying to get that report. I gotta type it in myself, but at least I can give you guys that report, which shows, what kind of stuff we're dealing with. And then I also did post it on Facebook as well. It was a little extended. I think it went to February 10th. I just did it that day since I was working on it that day, but from now on it'll be, next meeting I'll have February's and then March's, and we'll go from there.
good information, I think.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, without Sam here, we don't really have any information regarding this. I know there was a little bit of information that came out regarding a specific bill, and I don't know what the outcome of that was, but I'm sure he'll probably fill us in when he does get back here, so.
Was that, House Bill
1255,
1255?
yeah.
That passed the House. It's a bill that would allow anyone from anywhere in the world to call in, Zoom in, send an audio, send a video, and be part of public input. I cannot imagine how long that would make some of our meetings.
But according to Representative Jensen, who contacted me after the fact, he said the bill was limited to this geographical area. So it's not anywhere in the world.
They must have amended it.
Yeah, exactly. Now, that's why I said I think it'd be a good idea to have Sam's input on exactly what was HB 1255. And he also said, now this is the representative speaking, he said he doesn't think it's going to pass the Senate. So, who knows? Maybe it's a moot point anyway. But
it might not hurt to consider calling Mr. Bowen, Senator, and express your opinion.
I contacted both of them, and they both got back to me. So, I mean, they're receptive to hearing what people have to say. You just got to get in touch with them. So, be interesting to find out what stories Sam will have for us. Maybe really interesting. Okay, so then we'll move on to number 12, the chairperson updates. And keep in mind there is this statement at the end there that says, if needed. So just because Lucas is the chair for street, that doesn't mean you have to have anything prepared. If you got something to say, now's your time.
Yeah, I don't think I do.
Okay, so we'll just wait with that for now. We go to the cemetery, and actually there is no chair, so it's either Lucas or Cindy that would have anything, and I don't know if you would.
They're as quiet as can be.
Yeah. Good. Let's keep it
Hopefully
that
they
way.
stay that way.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be good. Let's see, water, that's back to Lucas. And nothing, all right. Wastewater is Linda.
Then
All right. And then we go to the library, and I believe that's Dave.
Got a book club coming up here
or next week maybe?
I think, no, isn't it this week, the last week of February?
Yeah, it's 26.
Right.
26?
Saturday.
Saturday.
No, it's not, I'm sorry, it's a Thursday, isn't it?
Oh, so that'd be the 24th.
24th.
24, 6:30.
Thank you. I should have been more up to date on that.
Aside from that, I'm assuming everything's going well there? Okay. Well, then we could go to the golf course.
We have a donor that said they would pay for, we were gonna replace about 3 of our T-box signs and then get decals to change the numbers. We have a donor that has said he would pay to have all the T-box signs replaced, so our golf course looks good for the spring. So I'm in contact with Fast Signs, getting that done. I've also been in contact with A&B Business Solutions, the company that prints our scorecards. Since we're changing all the hole numbers, they're gonna have to redo our scorecards, so we're working on that. So hopefully by sometime later in March, we'll have all of that done.
How many hundred scorecards do you have from
I do have quite a few, because I didn't want to run out.
the, I wonder if it's possible just, I mean, you know, for a duffer like me, I mean, I could just take the thing and just write hole number 1's not hole number 1 anymore, it's now, you know, I don't put it into the database or anything, so. I don't think it'd be a bad idea to just have them there.
Okay, we can have them someplace.
Try to use them up, I don't know.
Okay, we're ordering 2,000 new ones.
Okay, I assume that's about it for the golf course, because pretty quiet too, huh? Let's see, then we go to the finance office, and that would be Cindy.
Well, I don't have anything to add. We're financing.
Still in the black.
Yeah.
That's good news. And then we go to Darla, I believe is the liquor store chair.
Well, I talked to Teresa, and she said the door cannot be fixed. Is that correct?
Well, I was down there looking at it, and she comes out and she says, there's like a 3/8 of an inch crack between the door jamb or the frame and the door. She said, somebody's gonna be able to put a crowbar in there and break the lock. So I don't know what, you know, we could get some stainless steel and screw it on the outside of the door so that gap is filled out. But, you know, is some thief gonna stand there and take out 8 or 10 screws and use the
Right
crowbar?
on Main Street.
Let's say, yeah.
You're right on.
I don't know if that's what she thinks would fix it or not. That wasn't the part that I thought was the problem.
Okay.
I thought it was where the deadbolt goes into the jamb. She didn't seem to think that was the problem. She thought there was that gap between,
Doesn't need to get.
you know, in a steel door, there isn't really any way out. That's just the way they're made. So I'll check with her someday and see if she wants that piece of metal to cover up that gap.
And then she said the guy had not come back yet about
Sewer?
the sewer.
That's because we're gonna talk about it tonight.
Well, I've seen that.
Yeah.
So she hasn't seen Hyder.
Well, but she wasn't there when he came. She did tell me that. I talked to her today.
She didn't tell me.
Yeah. Yeah, she did say, I wasn't here. Harry was. She left that.
But she did say she knows her business.
And yeah, I mean, it's being worked on, and I think you were correct in saying, you know, we do care. We want to make sure that they're taken care of. And it's obviously our building, we want to maintain the building. It's better to have a business in it than to have it standing empty, that's for sure, so.
Dave, I have a question. 'Cause I do know that she was saying that like a crowbar or something could go in there. So, because it's a steel door,
Yeah, it's a metal door.
so the only place that you would really have to put anything would be near the locks, wouldn't? Because you're not gonna try and open a steel door at the top.
That's
Or at
that's
the-
what she said.
She's worried about that.
She's worried about that happening. There is already a plate right where the lock goes.
Okay.
I mean, about 8, 10 inches, maybe right there is already protected.
I think that little piece of metal is a good idea because it does give her some peace of mind.
Right.
And the beautiful part about it is that I know for a fact that the police officers' cameras on the front of their building, and especially on the east side of their building, I'm glad they're there. So, they're good
I
cameras.
mean, because I know that it's in a cubby. That was my concern, because it's in a cubby and somebody could do that. I just I didn't realize that there was already the piece there. But I do think that if it gives her peace of mind
Yeah.
to do the whole door.
Okay, I'll check with her. I've got an idea already.
You're
And
full of-
now I know what she wants or what she thinks. She can take a picture.
Anything else that you can think of, Darla, regarding the
No,
liquor
that's
store?
the only thing she said.
Okay. I know they talked about the floor and the restrooms and things like that are coming too, but we all gotta be patient. We all have to be, so. That being said, we'll move on to number 13, and ironically enough, it's a TSR plumbing quote.
So Tyler did go visit the bar, and he had to think a little bit on what would be the best way to fix it, because the best way to fix it would be to have some venting that goes out the roof, but that's not an option given the layout of the bar and everything. So this was his suggestion. He feels that it's going to minimize the smell. He feels the trap is just getting sucked dry, and then that's what's causing the smell to come up, so.
I suppose that must be 1.5 inches, and he's changing it to 2 inch. So there's a little bit of air, back air movement capability with larger diameter sewer pipes. You can see the quote, and Tyler contacted us and he was saying that, Pat, this is kind of expensive. And we're like, oh no, oh my gosh, how much? And he comes with this number and we thought, oh, dude, we just got through writing checks for the city building. $765.31 is not all that expensive to fix the problem that we've got there. Especially since now we don't have to put a hole in the roof.
And if we'd send over a form, we wouldn't have to pay the $15.31.
That's true.
I still do have to pay, that's a excise tax.
Excise tax, sorry.
So I still have to pay that.
Excise tax.
I'll make a motion to approve TSR work at the Alcester Bar for $765.31, and it will come out of the general fund.
I'll second it.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve TSR Plumbing LLC, Beersford, to do the work at the Alcester Bar for $765.31. Money coming from the general fund. Is there any discussion? Excuse me, hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, now we go on to number 14, and you've got a picture of a couple of different things. There's a front and a back to this. The bar is pretty much self-explanatory, but I've got a little bit of a question regarding the dividers. The question that I have, there are 33-inch panels in the middle, and let's say it's the longest one, which I think this is, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 33-inch panels and 2 26-inch panels. Are those 26-inch panels fixed at a 90-degree angle or perpendicular to those 33-inch panels so that they offer that stability to keep it from tipping over? Is that what that's all about?
I did not ask the question of that. These are fully customizable to be any shape that you would want them to be. So if you wanted, we could do them in here, like cubicles. You could make cubicles for them. So my thought on needing these is to be able to make the event hall smaller. So if there's multiple events going on, we can split the event hall, or if it's a smaller event and people don't want that great big room for a smaller seating, then you could make it a little bit cozier. They are a cloth covered material, so that also will help with sound.
Yeah, sound dampening. That's what I was thinking too.
And then the portable bar, like Landon said, now that we have our collapsible wall up, it does, the wall is very good about blocking the sound from the bar area into the event hall. So if something's going on in there, the event isn't going to be ruined by loud noises at the bar. But that also then would make it more challenging to be able to serve alcohol. You'd be constantly going through that door. So it would be nice to be able to have this portable bar that would allow you to mix and store some minimal alcohol and mixers.
How about beer? What's the plan for the beer thing on that side?
I kind of feel, it depends on the event, I guess, on what we're doing, but I feel if we had a wedding and we wanted this portable bar in the event hall for the wedding, I'm assuming we would probably set up either a 6-foot or 8-foot table behind this with totes of ice.
Okay, just in coolers?
Well, and we also, when we have, I mean, they've got one of these over there at the bridges, and right next to it was just a tub with a keg.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to know what our plan was for that.
And we are talking about a kegerator, just a single kegerator. I think the price on that will probably be under $1,000. But for those weddings that the family is gonna supply an open bar, just keg beer for the first hour or whatever it is, it would be nice to have something like that as well. But for right now, these are things that I would like to get approval on, so we could get them ordered.
I think we should figure out, see what the rental on a kegerator is too. Until we start doing 3 weddings a month. It might not be something we need to have own.
Do we have any idea how many of these dividers were considered?
I would like 2. I would like them 25 feet long, 6 feet tall.
Is 25 feet the max?
Yes.
Hard to read on
They're only
this.
6 feet tall?
That was my recommendation. I mean, we could go 6'10" if you wanted, or 7 foot.
You got people that are 6, I'm not, you know, then they would be, I don't know, I don't think I like 6 foot.
Okay,
I think it needs to be taller than 6 foot,
okay.
just for the sound too.
So the next size is what, 7'10"?
6'10" or 7'6".
What's the difference in price?
I don't know. I have to look that up real quick.
I don't know, I just don't think 6 is enough. Very tall.
It's a drop-down thing that you gotta select
Yeah.
that
I
height.
will find that out for you.
And on my end, you know, it's a standard door, I didn't know if you wanted to go inside a storage room.
78-inch door. So 6'10" is 72, that's 82. They wouldn't go in the storage room if they were more than 6 foot.
But you could get away with the 6'10".
No, 6 foot is 72 inches.
Oh, yeah, you're right, I'm sorry. 72.
Dave, if I can weigh in on the kegerator. We kind of decided on that, to go that route. We may, I mean, our possibility of using it and being able to offer it is gonna go up if we do have one. I don't know of too many places that can rent a kegerator. The only thing we can do is borrow like a 20-gallon bucket from one of our beer distributors, and with the old hand pump, and that doesn't provide as much. There's more waste coming out of your hand pump kegerator and then icing it in that bucket, in which we'll end up with water perspiration into the carpet. So we have to kind of, I don't know how we would end up working that. But then again, it's right at the moment, we've got maybe 4 uses out of it so far for the year. I had already, when we were discussing it, that I found, some kegerators that were under 800 onto it, and depending on, and I'm looking with the company in Sioux City, I'm getting a quote for that, and then and they're also going to fix the oven too.
Okay, thanks.
So that's more of our concern on the kegerator, so we didn't have a nasty wet carpet.
Yeah.
So could you use that in the restaurant side then, at all?
We could.
I've just heard this a couple times.
You've heard it more than once, I've heard it more than once.
That they wish they could order,
They want
pitcher of
cake,
beer.
they want craft beer, yes. Unfortunately, with the design, the only way it could be used and accessed at all the time, and it's gonna be in a way,
I don't drink
because,
beer, so I have no idea.
well, it can only
Really
be used
not
when
room for it to sit there.
we don't have room, correct.
Okay,
So,
I'll just
It
tell
is gonna be, it'll be roughly this high, be above it won't be able to fit underneath the counter anywhere,
okay,
and it would only go along where our beer cooler, when the door's closed.
okay. Well, I just
So-
gave you an answer when I asked you that.
No, we've heard it, it's just, unfortunately, there wasn't,
So it could go outside though, so if you had a golf.
it could go
event,
outside, we could have it, yes,
You
outside
could
for,
have it out on the deck.
yeah,
is there
yes.
enough room back by the dishwasher for it to sit in the kitchen area that?
That we can run a really long hose onto, that you
No,
can sit on, or?
I'm just saying, if you want a pitcher, no
Oh,
problem.
if I want to drink in the kitchen, I
Right,
will.
a pitcher.
No, that area is congested because the ice machine is right behind
Okay,
that door.
well, I'm just trying to figure out if it could sit somewhere else. I mean,
It really can't be used unless we want to make it used, and say we had an event where we had a lot of extra cake left over from the event, we ordered 3 or 4 because of, say it was a golf tournament, and they're not going to take it back once
right.
we've got it, so we can splurge it out and sell it that way.
Well, in that case, then, we just move a table off to the side and set it over right by whatever it takes to use it.
We'll find a use for it, whether we're making root beer floats with it, or, whatever.
Something.
Kitty party, you can get a small keg of root beer or something.
So I did look up, it would add $257 if we go to a 6'10", or
They
if,
decided that wouldn't work.
It won't go through the door.
Doors
Unfortunately.
are over 78 inches tall. I measured the one today to get the full coolers out of them.
But is that with the wheels on
Yeah.
it? Or is that just the wall, the wall itself, panel?
that I don't know.
Because, if that's just the panel and then have the wheels, they're gonna work anyway to go in and out,
Yeah.
Right.
I bet it's just the panel. And then you gotta add, 4 inches or so for the wheels. Be my guess.
Which at least makes it 6'4", so that somebody that's not 6'4" isn't, I mean, first of all, you're not gonna be able to see over them. And if you're sitting at a table and you're trying to keep the noise from going, from place to place,
So
you'll
you're
still have
thinking
some
about
privacy.
using these, maybe having 2 or 3 events in there at once? You don't think it'd be, you think this place would be quiet enough with it open on the top? Are these going to be soundproof enough? Are they going to absorb enough of the sound is my question.
Well,
I don't know.
we are also working at getting acoustical tiles in the event hall.
That would help, because it's.
It is
It
echoey.
echoes, yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Well, keep in mind also that if you're having a party, you're gonna be making so much noise, the people next door are gonna be making so much noise, it's just one big party. I mean, it's not like, now,
I don't
granted,
know.
if I was,
like to
if
have
I
my
was
own
teaching
parties
a
by
class.
myself. My family,
It'd be-
All these parties.
And you can certainly do that, you just pay the whole rent.
Well, no, but my point is that if I'm over here at a party and they're over here, and I'm hearing them, and they're hearing me, I'm afraid that people are gonna be real pleased.
I think people will have to talk about that.
Yeah,
I think it'll be
maybe
very
these
good
will work.
friends that will say,
Maybe these will work fine. I don't know, I've never seen them.
for like a graduation party.
Yeah.
I mean, heck, little Johnny's people can go here, little Janie's people can go here, and they can go back and forth.
And
and
I
they
think
can
it's a
do-
great idea, just if they are soundproof.
And 50 feet, we did measure whether we split the room in half going east
Okay.
and west or north and south, 50 feet would
50
get
feet
us.
would do either one.
Mhm.
It's not clear to the door.
No, it's not door to door or wall to wall.
Close enough, close enough.
They do,
Would be
they do
enough.
provide sound relief.
Do they?
Not a lot, but they do.
It will absorb some of
I've
it.
used them in, but that's more ceiling to ceiling, but even the ones that have you're over the top, they do provide some sound relief. And like the mayor said, you got noise coming from both sides, you're really not gonna hear a whole lot. And I didn't hear the height on them, so I'm not.
6 feet.
6 foot high? I can peek over that.
That's what my comment was, but we can't get them any bigger to go through the doorways.
Right.
And
That was my
That's-
complaint.
That's
was
a
6
given,
feet.
that's a given. The 6 feet has gotta be that way in order for us to be able to move them into another place. But keep in mind the fact that most people are gonna be sitting, they're not gonna be necessarily standing, and if they are standing, if they get a chance to peek at little Johnny's party at the same time while they're at little Janie's party, they either gotta work and play well together, or they don't. I mean,
Well,
we can't buy taller ones.
The only people that would be able to peek over is if you're up dancing and you're
And you're tall.
6'4".
Yeah, you'd have to be very
Yeah.
tall. I mean,
By any chance, did we look to see if there was adjustable height ones?
No, I didn't. I just was researching these and these seem to be a good fit for us. Just because they're collapsible, they're adjustable to any shape or size that we want.
Other than height wise?
But even a 72-inch, that's not gonna work anyways, with the wheels.
Unless he said that they would collapse, if it would be, I see what he's saying, yeah, that would be
I've
nice.
never
I don't know
seen
if they
something
make
like that.
anything like that either.
I tell you, at Gateway 2000, they had basically this same structure. I've been in a lot of cubicle jobs. I mean, I'm sitting in a cubicle here, and right next door to me is somebody on the phone talking to somebody, and they're talking at normal volume, and it's amazing.
You can't hear.
Now granted, it's not in a big, huge auditorium, so the sound dampening tiles will help too, but anyway.
Well, we don't need it until May 12th.
Yeah, but how long is it gonna take to get?
That's the other.
That's the other thing, everything is slow.
Would you want to order just one to see it?
But then they would match if you wanted to, I think it makes more sense to have two.
You run them in a straight line, what keeps it from tipping over?
That's why I asked that about, see, the 230.
I see they're at 90s on the end.
The 226s, that's what keeps them from tipping
Yeah.
over. It's gotta be at a 90-degree angle, it must be fixed, in my opinion.
Because even the picture on the top, they have the different colors, and they're
All of them are like
Uh-huh,
that.
yeah, they are.
And I think they've just got them bent in a semicircle, because you can make them straight. The only thing is, the end of it is gonna be,
Yeah.
yeah. That's the only way that it'll stay standing up, otherwise it's gonna be laying down.
Well, maybe we just overlook worrying about going through a doorway into a storage, into like a storage room and get the taller ones,
So let me ask you this, is it possible to get it, how tall, are all the doors the same? Like, what I'm thinking of is, you open up that door between the bar and the convention center, you can haul a truck through there, it's so tall. So you get it up into there, can you go down the hallway and into one of the storage, or are all those doors?
They're all the same height.
All the same.
We put in a double door in the storeroom just for the purpose of getting larger things in and
Tables
out,
and-
but
yeah.
I never thought to go higher.
So when people ask Landon to rent that, do they say, could you make it a smaller area? Have they
For
ever said that?
graduations, yes.
They get it for graduations. Yeah.
But more often than not, weren't a couple of people talking about renting at the same time?
Yeah.
So again, these people are friends, and they're already ready to have a party together. So this noise business is in moot
Well,
point.
But quite often in Beersford at the bridges, when they have graduations, there's like 4 or 5 kids, and they're all together, it's all open.
Yeah, yeah,
Open, they don't divide it at all.
and we could do that too. I mean,
But if they're asking for it,
Yeah, and I
you know,
suppose
is
we
that
have
gonna turn
to.
away business if we don't have it?
Right.
You don't know, I mean,
yeah,
this may be an option to acquire more business.
Are they very stable? Have you read reviews on these?
I feel they're a well-built product. They have the locking casters on there, so I feel that's going to keep them, I mean, it depends what's gonna be bouncing up against them.
Well, no, yeah, I just wanna make sure that they don't tip onto somebody.
right. Well,
So
they have,
maybe look at the reviews.
they have to
Did
be
you do that?
designed, to do this, because obviously they make them.
Well, I just
you
wanna
know,
make sure
so-
that we are,
I can call the company and get more
and
information.
there might be at the bottom of the thing, there might be reviews and,
There weren't any reviews
there
on
weren't
their
any,
site.
okay, all right. Okay.
But they're made in
The bar has a lot of
Minneapolis.
reviews, it's got 5 stars.
The bar thing does?
Yep.
Yes, I was particular
Oh.
about that,
Yeah.
because I didn't want a piece of junk, but these panels are just made in Minneapolis.
They are made in Minneapolis, okay.
So I can call my sales rep.
It won't be on a ship.
How long is the longest one?
25 feet.
Okay, so that's 10 panels.
Yeah, it's on the.
Because 5 panels is only 13.75 feet. So this thing is twice as big as the one you're looking at, the blue one.
I just looked at it, 'cause I hadn't seen it yet, I just happened to look at it. They're collapsible. They're one piece that's collapsible. And where I just seen it was, the highest one is 8'8",
8'10", I think
Yep,
it says.
or
or
7.
10 or whatever it is.
7'8", yeah.
Okay, our doorways are, we're gonna store them in the storeroom where we have the chairs and the tables and stuff. An 8'8" is not an issue. We can, even if it's on the chair, we can throw it on our dolly and lean it back and go in and stand it up. Because our ceilings in there are 15. So getting it from room to room is not an issue as far as bringing them in and out of the storeroom.
I forgot about our chair dolly.
So we can go that high without an
And when
issue.
you call, why don't you ask and see how much one of the 25-footers weighs?
Yeah.
It also would be nice to know if that 26-inch wide spot is fixed at a 90-degree angle.
Are you talking the corner?
Yeah.
Yeah, right here.
They almost have to be fixed.
And if that's part of the 25 feet.
Well, I would think it isn't. I would think that 33 inches wide times 5 gives us 13.75 feet right there.
Well,
So,
9 panels at 33 inches wide is 300 inches, which is the same as 25 feet.
there you go. I bet you, and I said 10. I just rounded up to, so they're big and they're gonna be heavy.
What color are you thinking?
Well, 33, that's just short of 3 foot wide.
Yeah,
And the other, what is it, 24 on the
26.
26, so it's a little over 2, so you've got that much on either side of that much.
But there are 9 panels, not 5 of that 33. So they're darned heavy.
Okay. Well, I guess the weight would be the more the issue than anything else.
We
either
just
way.
need to check that out, I
Yeah.
think. So we check it out, we come back and we talk about it at the next meeting.
So we're gonna do the
Do you
bar
want
though?
to do the bars on that?
I'd like to get that ordered.
Yeah, 'cause we don't know how long that'll take, and we got some weddings.
Where does that have to come from?
That I don't know, because this is through Westron, so.
I'll make a motion to approve the purchase of the portable bar from Webster at $2,069 plus freight, money coming from the golf fund.
I'll second that.
The motion has been made and seconded to approve the purchase of the portable bar. Carlisle Black Maximizer Portable Bar from Webstron, $2,069 plus freight, money coming from the golf funds. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Cool. And we will,
Yep, patio out of the deck.
yeah,
I'm thinking when we do the Horizon Golf Tournament or any golf
Football
tournament.
games.
hold on. Yeah, it could be pretty nice. It's the same thing with that keg. I mean, anyway. Okay, 14 is done for now. 15 is finance office updates.
Just wanted to let you guys know the district meeting is in Vermillion on March 15th. And I do need to let the Vermillion, or South Dakota Municipal League know how many of us are attending by March 1st. So I guess I would like to know by the end of this week, so I know 2 for sure. For those of you that have never gone, it's actually I find it very enjoyable. Some of the city employees think I'm a little bit weird, but what they do is they start out with a social or a happy hour, so it's a way for you guys to connect. We'll all have name tags on so people know if you're an alderman or a city employee or whatever the case is. And, March 15th is a Tuesday, if you're wondering what day. And then they do a nice catered meal at 7 o'clock. And then they have Yvonne Taylor, who is the head of the league there. She reviews all the legislation, and she tells us the new stuff that's coming in, the stuff that was maybe voted down, or just all of the things that happened during the legislative session. So you guys will be in the know way before July 1st of the new stuff that's coming in. So, and then they have door prizes and all kinds of stuff like that. It is a very enjoyable night. It is usually an open bar or some sort of a bar. And now that we have our event center, I am wanting to put in the request, because we vote on where the event is going to be held the next year. And I've never done one of these. Lana said Alcester has had it once, and we had it in the auditorium, and it was a ton of work. But
For me.
But I would like to put our name in the hat to do it at our center.
Well, that'd be nice.
That'd be nice. So,
Where's
What time
this
did
at?
you say
So-
it starts?
Vermillion.
I went.
Happy hours at 6.
6 is social, 7
That's
dinner,
when we
and
went to
7:30 is the.
Yeah, we went to the
Yeah.
barn.
We
Mhm.
went to Canton.
Yeah.
It was fun.
I think it's interesting, but like I said, apparently I have a warped sense of what's fun, but
That's just not my good time of year.
But it's also kind of nice to be able
Taxes,
to,
yeah. Lucky to get home by 7 o'clock.
it's also kind of nice to be able to visit with other people that do the same kind of things that we're talking about doing every day here.
and it's $26 a person. So, and the city would pay for that. So, so please let me know. And so right now, you said Dave and Cindy are going.
Where's this at? What is it held at?
Vermillion.
Where at
The
though?
lumber company, which is a really cool building.
Old Glover Company Bar and Grill.
I was in that for the very first time this summer, and it is really awesome in there.
You can put me down, I'll try to make it.
Okay. We typically carpool together, but,
So,
so if something comes up. But it is a really good time to network, and like the Mayor said, you could speak with other aldermen and see what's happening in your city and how they're resolving it and stuff, so. Just so you guys know too, and I'm sure that we'll see it in the paper, but I did put an ad out for all the vacant positions that we have. So Wanda's position is being advertised. I threw it out there for the lifeguards, which we haven't done a lot of the recruiting yet on our guards to know for sure on our numbers, but I did put out our need for a custodian to replace Cindy. So, and I do need to do another ad for my library summer help. So I'll send that.
You have cook,
Yes, I do.
assistant,
I have cook
okay.
on there as well.
good.
Yep. So,
When is the pool open?
June 1st.
June 1st?
Mhm. So I think some of our employees will be doing double duty, because Michael Cass is certified, so I have a feeling he'll probably do pool work as well as community center work. But we've had a lot of interest with the pool, so.
Looks like the letter B is this, you can see you've got the city records destroy list.
So, per the state, the record retention is typically 1 year in our office, 3 years off-site or in storage, and then often destroyed after 4. There are certain things that I, of course, either have to keep 10 years or forever, but our monthly checks, bills, vouchers, utility billing, liquor billing, any of that kind of stuff, I only need to keep 4 years. Once I go through an audit, it's pretty much, they're done. We, as the city, have made the decision to keep them longer than what the state says, so I'm only asking to get rid of 2015. Oh, and then there was a few little stragglers I found of 2010, some utility billing, and 2011 utility billing. And then I did kind of 2008 and 2009 of some automatic payments. I guess back in the day, water billing came through the bank, and Wanda got these statements from the bank that said who paid it, what it was. So that's what 2008 and 2009 are.
There's so many things that are changed.
So we would need a motion to approve that list.
I'll make a motion to destroy records for Alcester City Records destroy list of February 2022 for the year 2015, and the additional dates that she said.
They're listed here.
I'll second that.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve the list, Alcester City Records Destroy List dated February 2022, as you can see printed. Is there any other, or any discussion? Not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Board of Equalization meeting.
So, I do have all the packet information and I will be sending that out to you. So the Board of Equalization is where any citizens of Alcester, if they have an issue with their property taxes, they can, the first step is to come to you, the city council, and say, I think my taxes are too high and this is why I think that. And then you guys make a decision and then that decision gets passed on to Union County. There's no guarantee that Union County will accept that, or they might come up with something different, but that is part of the process. We used to get everything in paper and now they've pretty much gone to PDF files. So I will be emailing you out the tax roll book, so you'll get to see all the properties. I would just encourage you to search your neighborhood, and the things you'll be looking for are things like, are there buildings that have come down that the tax rolls still show that there is a building on there? Or do you see property that seems completely out of whack in the value of it versus the properties around it that are similar? So I would just encourage you to do your individual wards. Because that is also part of the project, is that you guys, even if no one comes forward with a complaint, you have to look at it and say, everything looks as it should. I'll get that sent out to you.
Divided by wards?
You can search by name, you can search by address.
There's gonna, you know, there's people that live in my ward, I don't know who they are.
You can go up and down, they are pretty much in numeric order.
Okay.
You'll notice that it says letter I there, motion to set Board of Equalization meeting. Notice that that's March 21st, that's a city council meeting night, and what ends up happening is we come in as a city council, we sit as a city council, then we stop acting as city council, act as the Board of Equalization. Get that done, stop acting as the Board of Equalization, go back to the city council and finish our city council meeting. Bring coffee. And we would need to make a motion to set that as a date.
I'll make a motion to set the Board of Equalization meeting for Monday, March 21, 2022 at 6 p.m. I'll second it.
Motion has been made and seconded to set the Board of Equalization meeting for Monday, March 21st, 2022 at 6 p.m. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
So this says, I'm just sorry, it says the appeal deadline is March 17th, so
Yep.
we will know by March 17th.
If you will have any, yep.
Okay.
And I was just gonna tell you that if any of the people in your board say, I do have a complaint, they need to come to me, I have the form, they have to fill out a form, then you guys will have that in your packet, so you can review it prior to the meeting.
Even if we don't have any, we still review this information and we discuss it for a little while. It doesn't have to be a long, lengthy discussion, but we still need to get our heads wrapped around, are we okay with the way it looks? It's a yes or no question. If so, then we let it go. The letter D, we've already talked about, the district meeting, and then we move on to reminders and updates. For those of you that have opted to take out a petition, first of all, let me say thank you. Second of all, you have until this Friday at 5 p.m. to turn in that petition, signed and prepared properly. The next city council meeting is March 7th at 6 p.m. Board of Equalization meeting, as you can see, and there's the appeal deadline. And should there be an election, the election day will be April 12th. guess the next thing we would talk about is an executive session if needed.
I'm gonna make a motion to enter an executive session pursuant to SDCL 1-25-2, (1).
I'll second that.
Number one, personnel, is that?
Yes.
Linda and Lucas. Motion has been made and seconded to enter into executive session pursuant to SDCL 1-25-2, parent 1. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All in favor, and we are in executive session at 8:11 p.m. All right, we are out of executive session at 8:38 p.m. No action can be taken on anything that we've discussed. The only thing we can do is move on to item 17, and that is an adjournment.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second it.
Motion has been made, seconded to adjourn. Is there any discussion? No? In that case, we will, I'll ask for a vote. How about that? Yeah, good, that's good. Now, okay. So, if there is no other discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Cool, then that actually took long enough to go. We're adjourned at 8:39 p.m.